How's everybody doing? Okay, today we are going to talk about compatibility of signs. And yes, this is Leo and Pisces. Now, even though Leo is fixed fire and Pisces represents mutable water, we have an elemental square between water and fire, and then you have fixed and mutable, which actually works. It's simpatico. And because of this, we can ascribe the category or put this combination in the category of compatibility of signs. Okay? Understand that with this combination, we have to proceed as we normally do, as you already know how I do, and we are going to talk or compare this combination or ascribe this combination to nature. Always we do this in part one of every combination, then we go into the nitty gritty in part two. Sometimes I do vice versa, sometimes I avoid the nature topic altogether. It depends. But here we have a couple of examples in nature before we talk about human nature and how to ascribe the combination of nature to the aspect of the human ego and the human personality of this combination. We have to first find the parallel in nature. And if we find this combination workable in nature, then that means that we, as a higher, more intelligent being with actual spirit and consciousness, can probably do far better with consciousness than nature, which doesn't have a human spirit like we do. It's governed by nature spirits and other forces that have nothing to do with the actual earth itself, even though the earth also, like all the other planets, has its own particular vibration. And this is something that we can ascribe to many factors, okay? But to keep it simple, we can ascribe Leo to the sun, as I always do. And I'm going to use another analogy other than the sun to get at the same conclusion. But for now, let's just say that Leo represents the sun in space. So then, what will represent Pisces in that same platform of space? Well, Pisces represents the eternal mother. It is a womb, the cosmic egg, in which the sun comes from and all other billions and trillions of suns and galaxies and constellations and what have you. So, also, Pisces represents the eternal ethers, the ethers of space, that very fine and specific filament and fabric in space, which has nothing to do with carbon matter, but it is made of another substance that doesn't even have a particular definition. It is something that is mysterious and something that defies definition, defies explanation, but we know that it's real. We know that. So because we know that it is real, we are able to, what can I say? Here we go. We're having another situation here. Now this is absolutely crazy how this happens. Can you believe how that happens? And I cannot stop it. This is absolutely crazy and mysterious how this happened. But you know what? Those are the guides acting like that, reacting like that, and causing all these kinds of disturbances around the witching hour in the morning. So please bear with me. This is their way of wanting to make noise because, as you notice, my webcam is not directly pointing towards the altar anymore. Because, the webcam is kind of a little limited, you know what I'm saying? I think they kind of like when I use the phone, and then that way, because you don't really get to see it, so then they cause these kind of poltergeist disturbances. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for that. Okay, and I lost the people at the microphone. Okay, let's do this again. Let's do this again. Okay. I'm so sorry. Of the ethers of space, that's Pisces. I mentioned that the waters in our oceans, the waters that represented 70% of our planet, as above, so below. The same substance that we call water also exists in space. But it doesn't look like it does down here as water and something that's wet, made of covalent bonding between oxygen and hydrogen. No, this ether has no definition and is indescribable. It is the water of space, just like our water is the fear of earth, as above, so below. Pisces represents the ether in which the fabric of space-time itself is made of, and all the planets and stars and constellations and everything that is the observable and non-observable universe. All that is made by a fine substance and filament called ether, and that is the symbolic depths of the waters of space. And God moved throughout the spirit of the waters. He's not talking about the waters here on earth. It's the waters of space, the ethers. So understand that who came before, the chicken or the egg? It's one of those kind of combinations. Well, obviously, the sun came from the primordial egg, as did everything else in the cosmos. The eternal cosmic mother, Gaia, that's Pisces. Yemaya, and religion, and other religions, and Vishnu, or La Maria de la Mercedes in Spanish, Catholicism. She represents that principle of the eternal cosmic mother who gave birth to the universe. And that includes all kinds of suns, not just our sun, but the sun of Betelgeuse, the sun of Antares, of Aldebaran, and all other fixed stars and other countless of trillions and trillions and quadrillions of stars that composes our observable universe. Because there's nothing to be said about the unobservable universe, which is equally as vast and mysterious. All of that represents Pisces, the symbol of Pisces. So then, the illuminated sun that particularly illuminates our solar system, in particularly, cannot be this illuminating sun that we can observe if it wasn't for the ethers of space that act as a conductor, as a fabric, which allows this light to then be observable to us from our vantage point. But you know what? Let's not even go there, because that might be too abstract to grasp. So let us say that the sun, which represents Leo, works in congruency with the atmosphere of our planet, right? Because the clouds are made of water and hydrogen, primarily. So you have water in our oceans, which represents Pisces, but you have water in our atmosphere, which also represents Pisces. Okay? So, our atmosphere, if it's raining, if it's humid, if it has precipitation, if it's snowing, the atmosphere of our planet is constantly changing with the different weather patterns, whether it's winter, spring, summer, fall. It's either always snowing or always raining or sleet or hail. If you're in different parts of the planet, where if you're in the northern region where it's winter, you might have disasters that are attributed to snow and maybe mountain shifts like avalanches. but you can equally have the same form of destruction if you're in the south or in the tropics, where you have flash floods and torrential rain and over rain, more than 40 inches a year, which can cause flooding. It can cause destruction of vegetation and destruction of foundation of land masses and cause mudslides, So Mother Nature, east, west, north, south, whichever direction you go, can be dangerous. In the Midwest, you have the tornadoes in Tornado Alley ripping through the Midwest or the Southwest of the United States, causing equal destruction. So, and this can be done by the sun being eclipsed or the moon being eclipsed. The luminaries and the different interactions between the moon and the sun and the earth determines a lot of our weather patterns and also our climatology. In addition to what we do on our planet to cause all kinds of waste emissions that also help contribute to the destruction of our atmosphere. That represents Pisces. So there's definitely a protective shield that surrounds the earth, which also is attributed to Pisces from the cancerous rays of the sun. So here, earth is working in tandem with the sun. So the sun doesn't scorch every single living thing that's here on this planet. There's a protective sheath. So the same analogy we can ascribe to human personality and behavior. But before I do that, let me go the religious bent and talk about the Grand Madonna holding the child of Christ. That is another Leo Pisces combination or symbology. Because the Madonna, especially in Europe, if you go to the British Museum and you see the Black Madonna holding the black baby, what do you think that symbolizes? What do you think that means? The Leo Pisces combination can be very Christ-like and very deeply spiritual, deeply mysterious, and it's spiritual and even ecclesiastical mystery. But this is something that's not going to be observable or noticeable if you're young, below 30. Certainly it's not going to be something that you're going to pay attention to or even observe if you're above 30. You know? Usually this occurs in midlife, this kind of realization. In the meantime, the combination can live a series of episodes that can be nurturing and also conflicting. The conflicting part will probably be Pisces, and it depends if it's a man or a woman. Okay, so the protective nature that our planet enjoys in protecting the planet from the rays of the sun, but also the sun's influence on our planet, in which nothing can grow and no food can be provided by our plants, which is 80% of the planet's producers and produce all kinds of vegetation and foods and fruits and nuts for us to eat. That would not be possible without the photosynthesis of the moon, of the sun, because the sun is responsible for photosynthesis, but the dark reaction of photosynthesis occurs at night, which is governed by the forces of the moon. So understand that there is a perfect harmony in nature that connects the earth, which is symbolized by Pisces, the lesser mother of the greater mother, and the sun, which is a solar deity and a masculine energy. There is definitely a tandem, a connection that is so subtle, so understated, that you will never know that it's really there. You will never know that it's really there. Well, the same thing can be ascribed to this combination and human personality and behavior. Okay? The Pisces woman, talking about the Pisces woman with the Leo man, will constantly cater to the man, the Leo man. And she will enjoy it. She will enjoy seeing him feel happy and feel elated as a king by the praise and adulation of Miss Pisces, both in the bedroom and outside the bedroom. The Leo man will have no problem with that. He will be happy. And the Pisces woman will also be happy fulfilling this role. Here's the thing. When the Leo man gets bored and wants to create drama, as he most certainly will always create drama, because if he gets bored, God forbid, and if the Pisces woman is not enough for him to stimulate interest and drama in which he can be the hero and the one that gains the attention, then that can cause a little problem. But he'll probably bring crisis and probably bring drama because he's dramatic. And even if he's not dramatic, he will cause you to become dramatic, either by the things he does or the things that he chooses not to do. Anything and everything to stimulate some kind of reaction from the women in his life. The Leo man, not just with Pisces women, but with all kinds of women. The thing is that every woman handles these situations quite differently. The Pisces woman can elect to ignore the lion and understand, because understand that the Pisces woman can see through any bullshit. And she will see the antics and manipulative tactics of the Leo man. And she can do two things. She can either ignore him or beat him at his own game and teach him a lesson. You see, the Leo man is probably the most unbalanced of all men in the zodiac. Not so much true with the Leo woman, but the Leo man can truly be very immature and rather a little unstable. And it does take a woman and him being involved in a relationship where somebody gives a shit about him and is interested in advancing him, evolving him, that this can be actually a worthwhile combination, you know. And the Leo man would be lucky because someone to care for him and do for him even when he doesn't deserve it will be the Pisces woman. The Pisces woman she's already very sacrificing and very giving. And because she is disposed to taking abuse, she would actually forgive that also in her man. But there's always a limit. And in that limit, the Pisces woman can suddenly and without warning walk out of your life and not look back. Or she might elect to stay and just at the right time fuck your game up because the Pisces woman is vindictive. And if you hurt her, Mr. Leo, as you most certainly can, either through ignorance or deliberately, trust and believe that this woman will get you back. She'll get you back in 101 ways. But the one that will stick is leaving you permanently and not looking back. And the Pisces woman can do that. Not so much the Leo man. Now, the Leo woman, on the other hand, can do that as well. I would say that for the most part, most women can do that. It's not that it's going to come easy. Some women, it can take them years to leave. Most elect to stay. But I think now we're approaching a different generation where women are just not taking bullshit anymore from men. They really are not. And I'm very happy for that because I don't think the rigid structure where a woman had no choice but had to stay in an abusive relationship, I think that's going to be a thing of the past. Women are not going to tolerate that anymore. And the Pisces woman, you have to understand that part of her uh, fortunateness is that she represents mutable water. This woman can adapt to you, and if you are an abusive person, she will adapt to that kind of abuse, whatever it is. But again, she's a tough woman. She's not given the credit that the Pisces woman deserves sometimes, because she's a lot tougher than people give her credit for, and quite capable of settling the score when you wrong her. So, to hurt a Pisces woman deliberately, as the Leo man and most men probably have and are capable of doing, would not be a very wise thing. This is one of the what this is one of these she's one of these women that if you really don't know how to be with her and don't really know how to value her and appreciate her, it's best if you leave her alone. Like Miss Cancer. These are very sensitive women. And the Leo man, you know, it's his narcissism and his sense of self importance and not looking at what's in front of him, paying attention. He can ruin things if he doesn't pay attention and doesn't acknowledge the emotional needs of the woman. So absorbed is the Leo man in fulfilling his needs and fulfilling the gratifications of his own ego and personality that he might fail to see that his own partner is in need of love and nurturing. Now, again, I'm going negative here. Not that the Leo men or all Leo men are like this. You know, they are, for the most part, quite wonderful people in relationships. They really are. With this combination, you have to be careful of the age, the level of exposure of education, the emotional maturity. All of that plays a role if you're below 30 or above 30 or above or past your prime or middle age. This is a combination that it's not going to come with a manual. No relationship really does. But this relationship dynamic between a Leo and a Pisces will require that a lot more than just the electricity and connection in the bedroom will be enough to sustain them together. They uh, they have to, like the sun. The sun comes from the deep womb to space, as all other luminaries and constellations and galaxies and what have you. Everything, like I mentioned, is in the observable universe, and understand that we are enveloped, enclosed, encased in the eternal mother, which is the universe. We are within the womb of the universe, which is personified as feminine. So Leo should submit to the feminine, which will be his wife or his girlfriend, because Leo represents the divine child, the child of Antioch, and Pisces represents the Madonna, you know, the one who holds the child, you know, the Jesus, the Christ consciousness, and understand that the mother loves her child. This combination falls under compatibility of signs because, for the most part, and to many people's surprise, this is a very compatible combination, especially if they approach the relationship from a spiritual base, a spiritual approach. The baby will always need its mother, and the mother needs a purpose for living, which is for that son. So I understand that this can be a very symbiotic relationship between, these two. Now, if we flip it and we say that the woman is the Leo and the man is the Pisces, again, this flip is a lot more dependent upon age and maturity. The Leo woman can be rather immature when she's young. She can be kind of rather immature when she's a lot past her prime too. The Pisces man is always seemingly or appears to be always immature from the moment he walks out of the womb to the moment that he walks into the coffin. The Pisces man doesn't seem to really change his position. You know, he can be wonderful or he could be reckless. He can be all things that the Leo woman wants in a man, or it can represent the total opposite. And I have mentioned that in my videos of the Pisces man. She will love him in bed. Any woman will with the Pisces man, you know? Like the Libra man and the Taurus man, very adept and know what they're doing. And the Aquarian man too. But it takes more than that to sustain a relationship. And we are done with part 1.